if you can hear me. See the screens. It's early. Chantal, did you see my message or no? Can you sim? Are you trading live on ADP? Can you sim an NQ trade for me? Or no? Okay, I'm going to write down the setup. Is it better if I write it, or can I just tell it to you? BR equals bracket. No, do not trade it, Lewis. Do not trade it. It's a test only. Don't have an NQ set up for this. Gold. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ADP trade room. I want to make sure you can hear me okay. I'm using a different headset this morning. Yesterday, I had to use a totally over-the-head headset. I had a horrible day because of that. Okay, sounds good. All right, this is a $12 headset. So my name is Lee Goldstein. Oh, shoot. Let me know when you start the stream, Chantal. It's a little bit early. I don't remember what I'm doing. Okay, you started. Let me just introduce myself for the stream. Okay, welcome everybody on YouTube, and thanks for watching. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Okay, so, and Chantal, okay, so Chantal, you're going to do that test for me. Thank you. This particular report, folks, it's a gold report. We have a DMM. It's been very, very reliable. It's been a little tougher. We had one stop recently, but I'm just setting up a test trade, not for anyone to trade. This is just for me. I'm not even going to pay any attention to it. I just want to see if bonds move. I don't want anybody trading this because I haven't tested it. Okay. I'm testing it now, so don't trade it unless you're trading it in sim. It's not a trade for real money because I can't tell you it's good or bad or indifferent. I don't know. So I'm just setting up a bond ZN test trade because I've noticed that bonds, they've been moving on this report. Have they been moving great? Not sure they've been moving great. I'm not sure if it's something new or recent. I think it is. Whoops. It's early, folks. So I'm just setting up my own personal bond test trade. Bonds, when I say bonds, I mean ZN. Okay. ZN is what, the 15-year. It's roughly what, half the tick value of the ZB. ZB is $31.25 a tick. ZN is half that. ZN is so different than ZV. ZV is what we call a low liquidity bond. Even though it has so much more volume than other instruments, it behaves as if it has, it's weird, it behaves as if it has low liquidity. Here's an interesting piece of info. Let's say you put a setup in, right? Let's say you put a setup in and you want to save it for the next time you come trade this report. So I put a setup in, okay? I put a setup in for bonds. I have a bracket of 4 for ZN. One position for 3 ticks. My second position is 10 ticks. My stop is 9 ticks. Okay, I don't change anything else in the software. My entry time is 8:14:58. My trade type is a breakout trade. Now I'm putting my entry time at 0 just for a minute because I want to check my brackets. I will label this because I don't want to get confused with my real trade. But if I want to save it, right? I go to template and I can come back next month. Template, save, give it a name, ADP bonds, okay, and date it. And that way, when I come back next month, then save it, it'll be there. Now, my time, I saved it as 0 because I'm testing. I want to see my bracket. See, the bracket way too big. My charts are way too spread apart. And that's a little better. So now I'm going to resave it because I want to put my time back to the correct time. Okay. I was just doing that to look at my bracket size. That's why I had the time set to 0. My entry time is 8:14:58. So we have 2 tests going this morning. I'm testing the MQ and I'm testing bonds. Why? Just because I'm interested. It's not that the report hasn't been working well on gold. It's been working pretty well. So I'm going back to template. I'm going to resave it. Now I already have it, so I can look for it, right? I can look for ADP bonds dated today, double click it. Do I want to replace it? Yes. And then it updates my time. Okay. So I'm going to watch a bond trade. And let me record this. Louis, I just can't guarantee the NQ on this. We haven't done enough testing. And in fact, Chantal did some testing and wasn't crazy about it. She didn't love the testing on the NQ. Now, you know, sometimes we're dealing with changing a change that's occurring. It may be, it's possible that ADP might be starting to respond to some different instruments more than it used to. So if I were going to trade NQ on it for real, you might want to use MNQ. You could use the micro, right? And it would give you a pretty good idea. AJ, I'm telling you, do not trade it live, please, because I haven't tested it. I looked at it once. I'm using a bracket of 4, and I'm just okay. I'm using a bracket of 4. I just want to be clear, folks, very, very clear that the only official setup is our DMM. Okay, let me show you the DMM. So it's been 5 out of the last 6. I think, yeah, 11. November was small. October was a nice winner. And December we got stopped. Okay. So December was a stop. Where is the clock? Let's look at a couple. So let's look at the loser. Last month was a loser. No one did anything wrong. It just didn't work. I'm just looking to see what setup I used last month. Okay, it's an 8:15 trade. So last month I used targets of 6, 14, and 21. I'm not going to use quite as big today on the 2 in the middle. Or certainly my third target's going to be smaller. My third target will be smaller today. So last month, I think what happened, so the news came out. It just didn't follow through. I mean, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do. It wasn't a bad result. It was 534,000 jobs. They were expecting 525. In theory, usually we have a better difference between what's expected, usually. Then the month before, Joe, I highly recommend that you watch a couple of videos. You know, it depends. The software automatic, if you set things up right, it'll put your targets, it'll put your orders on the chart at the time you told it to. And then if you get filled, yes, it'll populate, but you may have to manage yourself out of the trade. But I hope you're not trading live if you're asking me that question. You should not be trading live under any circumstances. You should be in sim. Okay. Okay. Yes. But you got to watch some videos on the go to the website, please. Make a login, watch some videos. So look, this is 2 months ago's trade. All right. So this is what's going to happen. It's 8:14, 20 seconds before the trade. Okay. 1 second before the trade, the orders are going to show up on the chart. If you set up, assuming everything's set up properly. Okay. And if it's not, you know, we go over it a million times in the room. So watch what happens. It's fast, but in 1 second, there's my orders. The news comes out. Let me stop it. So I get filled. Okay. This box shows that I was filled short. And there's my targets. And there's my stop. So if everything's set up right, the answer is yes, it's going to populate. But, you know, what if it doesn't hit your second target? You might have to manage your way out of the trade manually. Okay. So everything is not completely automated. And that's what happened to me that month. It didn't follow through. It hit my first target. So I was profitable, and I moved my stop up to break even because I didn't like the chop and I wanted to protect my target, my profit. Now, what I should have done there, well, I did the right thing. Instead of moving targets, I like to move my stop, because if you get follow through and your target is where it's supposed to be, you'll have a better profit. But sometimes if you pull your target in, you'll get a better profit because the price reverses. There's no 100% do this with your stops and targets, but overall, it's probably better to leave your targets in place and move your stop to safety rather than always shrinking your targets. If you always shrink your targets, then you'll never have a big winner. But if you shrink your stop, yes, sometimes you'll get stopped when it changes direction. Even like ISM yesterday did that. It changed direction. But I moved my targets instead of my stop, and I really should have moved my stop. Bear with me, folks. I mean, you can hear me. I have to clean my glasses. I just can't see that great. Give me a second. Okay. I have a large office. All right, so I'm going to set my trade up. Let me just look at one more. Let's look at October. October was a great trade. Oh, Joe, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Let me read that again. Hang on. Let's look at 3 months ago. October was a great report. October moved the way I like this report to move. The reason I'm bouncing around, I'm trying to find my setup. I mean, I know what I'm going to do today, but I like to see. Did I only trade? No, that was May. All right, I may not be able to find it. Okay, so October 6, 10, and 18. That's what I was going to do today. 6, 10, and 16. I like that. I like that even better. Now, I do recommend, if you're live, don't copy my targets exactly. You know, if I'm 6, 10, and 16, do 5, 11, and 17, okay? Or do 5 and 15 if you're only trading 2. On this report, I'll probably trade 3 targets, 3 positions. So this was October. And boom, it just shoots down beautifully. That's like a perfect trade. And it had a really nice, what we call a nice offset. They were expecting 428,000 jobs and they got over 560. That's almost too big of an offset. So here's how I'm setting up my trade. So you met Jay with Scott. I never met Scott. That's way before my time. I don't know what Scott's doing right now. So here's my setup. Right click the chart, click on strategies, double click on JOBB version 9. So you look at the DMM, what's the setup? Okay. What's the frequency, Kenneth? I'm sure no one in the room even remembers what that means. Who remembers what that means? What's the frequency, Kenneth? A bracket of 6, 3 positions, 1, 1, and 1. My first target is 6. Second is 10. My third is 16. No, it's not REM. What's the, it might be. It might be. I don't know if it's REM or not. My stop is 12. A newscaster, Dan Rather, was walking on the streets of New York City. A man walked up to him, said, "What's the frequency, Kenneth?" and punched him in the face. And it made headlines all over the world. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. My entry time is 8:14:59. The trade type is a breakout trade. I'm using my real account and I label my trade gold. That's my setup. That's all I have to do. No, it's a breakout trade, Al. Just curious, why would you think it's a range trade? So now don't forget, when you're trading, if you don't enable the trade in the control center, you won't trigger your trade, okay? And when you enable it, if you watch the first line on top of the trading chart, you'll see it changes when you enable the trade. So I'm going to check my time sync also. How do I check my time sync? And why do I want to check my time sync? I want to check my time sync because we're trading, 1 second before news comes out. So I want my computer to be in sync. So we check our time sync by going to the website, time.is. All you do is go there. Watch over here. It's going to tell you if my computer gets put in sync or not. Your time is exact. It put my computer in sync. If you go to time.is, now look, you can sync your computer using the old-fashioned Windows method, which is full of bugs. It just doesn't work properly. That's why I don't use it. But going to the website time.is is very easy. If you can't get your computer in sync, if you look on the control, the taskbar of the trade room, up at the top, there's a room drive. And in that room drive are a couple of files. There's a file called D4Time, Dimension 4 Time. That's another program that helps to put your computer in sync. and you can install that on your computer. Virus check anything you download. And dimension 4, when it's installed, allows you to click on it to start the program, and it looks like this. You click the Sync Now button, click it like 4 times, and watch the synchronized line. It'll change. That's syncing your computer to the server noted in location. Then go back to time.is from scratch, fresh in your browser, and try to check your sync by going to time.is. 99% of the time, D4, dimension 4, will put your computer in sync, and you can verify it by going to time.is. Okay, so folks on YouTube, if you're watching us, if you'd like, give us a like, hit the notification bell and the subscribe button so you get notified the next time we're going to be here streaming. Yes, Al, that's correct. I'm trading on a 30-second chart. Most of you all can trade on a 1-minute chart. I'm just doing a little bit of experimenting this year. I'm trading on a 30-second chart. I want to see the squeeze signals. You can trade on whatever time frame you want. We do our testing and our setup on 1-minute charts. And most of the trading I do is on a 1-minute chart. End of January, Weldon, end of January. If we make it, I think it's probably going to be February, just because the programmer took so much time off. So much time off. Bracket is 6. Bracket is 6. On a trade that moves like this trade can move, having a bracket between 6 and 8 is not outrageous. It wouldn't be an error. The thought about the bracket is the smaller the bracket can be and still keep you safe. Safe meaning you don't get entered early before the news. That's the size you'd like the bracket to be. So I'm going to completely ignore my bond trade because I'm recording. So whatever the bonds do doesn't matter. It's sim. I just want to see if they move in a tradable manner. That's all I'm doing. Do they move in a tradable manner? So I'm in my family money trade account. This is a family money trade. Gold has somewhat of an upward trend today. And, I think that there's a gold long trade in play here to test the high over the next hour, if not before this report. It wouldn't totally surprise me. Gold, you see it's on our screen. It's been 20 minutes. It hasn't tested the high in a while. Now I would go back further. I'd like to see half hour, an hour. Makes that testing of the high a stronger probability. But you have to be careful this time of day also, because the gold open is at 820, and that can throw a monkey wrench into that magnet trade. So it might be a trade I would not take until after the gold open. Or if the gold open looks like it's going to be a long open, then I might be interested. But see, I swear it's going to go test that high right now. I'm going to start putting the micro gold on my charts, my gold morning charts, and take those trades. Micro gold's what, $1 a tick. So we have 1 minute and 15 seconds. All right, we got 1 minute. Steve, try a different browser. It's so close to the trade now, it's hopeless probably. Here, we got about 25 seconds. Just watching, waiting. It's a 6-tick bracket. I can't believe it's not filling any of my targets. So I knew it was going to back up on me. I knew it was going to back up on me. I still protected. I was risking a lot of money on this trade, folks. I had 5 contracts on. It should continue down. It's a huge, huge build in jobs. It didn't follow through. I took a quick 100 only because I protected my target, which I can't believe it wasn't filled. There was a lot of slippage, folks. That's what really worked against us this morning. Huge slippage. Now, look, there was a bond move. There was a bond move. I'm not sure that it was a very good tradable move. Now, this is a very strange reaction to this report. And I'll explain why. I'm canceling my gold trade. I'm out of the trade with a profit of 100, okay? Not as much money as I wanted to make. Not what I wanted to make. Bonds wound up being flat because I moved my stop to almost break even. So bonds, you know, they look like they had what looked like a tradable move, and my targets weren't very big. So that needs to be looked at more carefully. So the issue, what happened, the reason we didn't make hundreds and hundreds of dollars, today, slippage worked against us. Now, I'm putting on MGC.
Lee, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Lee. Good morning, everyone. Eric Roth here. I traded also, so I just shared with you my video on Loom, and we can go over it whenever you want.
It's really hard to hear you, Eric. Eric, it's really hard to hear you.
Oh, probably the wrong mic is on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Tell people who you are. So Eric's one of the partners, okay, in the company. And he's setting up his mic. I think he was trading in his office. So what really worked against us, and we'll watch the video in a minute, there was a fair amount of slippage today. If I take my gold trade off of the control center, my fill was 18.10, way down at the bottom of the candle. So I'm actually happy that I was able to get out with $100 because it was not good fills. Now, what Chantal is saying, all targets were filled on the NQ. All targets were filled on the NQ, but probably there would have been quite a bit of slippage. Okay. I believe gold should push down. I think gold should push down, especially because the news is very good. NQ, I'm thinking without looking at it, should be up. Not very dramatic, folks. Not very dramatic. Not as dramatic as I would have thought. I could see this NQ trade not being so easy, Chantal. That NQ test.
Lee, I'm back.
Yes,
Is my mic
AJ,
better now?
I think I had as many ticks of slippage. Eric, there's something wrong with your mic.
Oh, you can't hear me at all?
I can barely, very, very low. Very low.
All right. Well,
what happened to you? What happened? I'll tell people.
Okay, so people can hear me, but not you. Maybe that's probably what the issue is. So let me just chat for a second, okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I traded 3 contracts. And good morning, everybody. Eric Roth here, one of the co-founders. And I traded exactly how the DMM set it up. I had 3 targets. My first target was 7 ticks. My second target was 13 ticks. And my third target was 20 ticks. And I'll just let the video, Lee, since you can't really hear me, go ahead and you could play the video that I shared with everyone.
They can hear you.
Yeah. No, I know. But, you know, I'll give it back to you. I just want to say I made, just give everyone, you know, my results. I made $210. I traded 3 contracts. And you know, Lee, I basically, what I did was, as you'll see in the video, guys, is I used the break even function and to lock in my profit. So that's all I'm going to say. Because of the mic stuff, I don't want to cause confusion. So hopefully everyone made money. And I want to also welcome all of our new members and wish everyone a happy new year. It's great to see all the action in the chat room. Stevie, and I know, Lee, you know everyone's name better than me, but Tahal Gal, Jody. So I just want to say, hope everyone made lots of money. And Lee, can you just play the video that I emailed you?
Yeah, I gotta get it.
All right, guys. I would wish I could chat more, but I feel bad that Lee can't really hear me. All right, guys. So I'll be back later, and Lee and I will figure out what's going on.
Okay, folks. So what's interesting is gold pushed down. Normally, when news is good, and the news was very good, 807,000 jobs. They expected 400. Gold normally would push down, but you see it chopped around for a bit also. Now I'm on a 30-second chart. You might get a little bit better price action, okay, on a 1-minute chart for watching. But I'm looking, the reason I'm on that 30-second chart, I'm looking for squeeze signals, okay? And see, look how you got a long squeeze signal. I'm turning off my crosshair, and we'll talk about squeeze signals much more in the next trade room, the oil trade room, okay? So I'm not even going to talk much about the reversal on this today. I would have maybe not even taken the reversal because the news was so powerfully positive, which should have kept pushing gold down. It pushed it down. It then kind of changed its mind and consolidated for a few minutes, but then it did go down. And I think it's because of that news. I think the NQ, ultimately, the markets should like this news. This is very good news. Oh, good, Eric. That's easy. That's even easier. Okay, so here's Eric's trade, and I'll tell you what he did. So let me put it in a browser for you. Okay, so he used as a feature in the software. Now let me just move a little bit forward here. So he's setting up, and everybody trades differently. We talk about this all the time. So his trade is set up. Okay, it's about 10 seconds before the news. Now, see, he doesn't mind that his prices are all the way up at the top. That drives me crazy. Now, he got his target filled, and I did not. Okay. He used a feature called break even. When his first target was filled, it automatically moved the stop to break even. It's hard to see on the chart because it happens very quickly, and his price is so far down. Okay, it happened there, but so let me explain how you can do it. You can experiment with it if you want to. I don't always like to use it because sometimes I don't want to move the stop that quickly. I think that I'd rather use it if target 2 gets hit. So here's how you turn that feature on. So you know what the strategy was this morning, right? I'll load my template. It's another great reason to have a template for education, right? Go to template, go to load. Remember when we got here, I saved my setup, ADP. Oh, I didn't save it. I'm such a jerk. I was saving the bond one. Okay, so I didn't save it. I apologize. I saved the bond one. So my setup doesn't really matter, but let's say I used 6, I had 3 positions and I used 6, 10, and 16, okay? If you want to move your stop automatically after a target is hit, target 1 stop move will move your stop automatically if target 1 is hit, and you tell it when to move it, where to move it to break even if target 1 gets hit, move it to break even minus 4 ticks, move it to break even plus 2 ticks. Okay, that's what Eric did. I'm assuming he used it to break even. Okay, that's what it looked like.
Well, Lee, I know you can't hear me. Just one last thing.
I can hear you.
Oh, you could?
Yeah, I mean, poorly.
Okay, well, everyone I think else. So Gray Rock and Jody, can you guys hear me poorly or clearly?
Good. They say good.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll just give you my account real quickly. Basically, I was watching the trade room, just like I'm sure many of you guys are watching. And then when I saw that there was a little bit of a struggle to get filled, that's what triggered me to use the break-even function. You with me? So I heard you in the background saying, hey, it's not filling me. It got to my first target. So, and once I saw I had, if you want to show the video again, I had about $100 to $200 on the board. And once I'm in the green, I said, okay, let me go ahead and use the break-even function, because the break-even function, right? You help me out, Lee. What are the benefits of using it? One of the major benefits.
When you're, hey Eric, you mean the break-even button? Do you mean the break-even button? Okay, so I misunderstood what you said. So let me clarify.
I might be misspeaking now. Let's play the video. I think I used the combine function. Go ahead. Let's take a look.
It's so fast that I can't tell.
Slow it down.
Well, maybe I can. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. It's just have to hit pause, and we'll break it down.
Yeah, I might be able to see it. Let me see if I can see
it.
So my question is, did you physically press the break-even button, or did you set it up in advance?
See. We'll see together, because you'll see my mouse cursor in the video.
All right, so that's, I have to explain that because I explained it wrong then.
No. Well, let's see. Hold on. Right there. Okay. So right now, hold on. Just pause for a second. Right. So I have $120 on the board. Okay. I hit the. Well, I did. I think I used the combined feature first. You see that?
Right,
It
good
is. It,
thinking.
it not yet. Yeah, that's what I did. Once I saw I had green, I heard you were struggling in the background with getting filled. I'm like, let me hit the combine because I don't want to try to grab. It's hard, guys. If you're trading multiple contracts, that's one of the negatives is that it's harder to grab each one, and it's more stressful when like Lee today was trading how many contracts?
5.
5, and between 3 different profit targets, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so and it's thanks to Lee that we have this feature, by the way. So basically, instead of making myself more stressed, I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and hit the combine function, right? So that it's easier. Right now instead of having 3 different profit targets, right? Now you see there's only 2 lines, which you could show everyone, right? There's that buy limit and this stop limit. So right there, now I have it's easier for me to manage. I got one guy I got to worry about instead of 3 different profit targets.
Yes,
So then
Eric, let me
yes,
interrupt you for
yes,
1 second,
sure,
Eric, because they don't
yes,
understand what the combine button is. We haven't explained it yet. So right at the top, when you enable a trade, there's 2 buttons, BE, break even, and combine. The combine button combines all your open targets into one target, and it's the target closest to the current price. He did something tremendously smart. He hit the combine button before he hit the break even button, so he was able to grab more profit. It combined all the targets. That's what the
that's
combine
right,
button did.
right.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Eric.
No. And I'm sounding like a newbie here, but guys, this is also new
Michael,
to me. This is also new to me as well. The combine and break even though it's been around what for like 2 years now. I'm not so used to using it myself, but this is a great. Today was a great example of a family money trade where even though it did perform, and I want to take the attention off me for a second, Lee. Did you do roll call? How did everyone do? How did
who
everyone do?
traded live? So who traded live? And Michael is saying something that unfortunately is not correct. You can't use, if you use stop limit orders, most of your trades won't fill, Michael. So it's not viable. It's not viable.
Before I go, guys, the curiosity is getting to me. Who traded live? And that's for many of our new members. I'm expecting that you're trading on Sim. That's the smart thing to do. But I know we have a bunch of regulars in the house too, and this is a family money trade. So, okay, excellent. Al, is that plus 46
Yeah.
ticks? Is that making sense? Lost 70 live aircal. Oh, $46. Hey, plus $46 is better than minus $46. Okay. Yeah, this was one where I actually leave. You just could finish playing the video. Look where I ended up getting filled. I think I got filled at like probably one of the best spots. Like after show everyone my fill, and then remove, and then you could that 1817.5, right? And then you could show everyone the live chart right now and show that like there wasn't much more to grab.
So his
I would
price
have.
is moving down. He hit the combine button right there, folks. So now all his targets are where his first target was. Okay. His 3 contracts were now shrunk into 1. So, and then it filled right there, right at the bottom, right barely as far as it went before it changed direction.
Yeah, and show everyone your live chart now. So if you remember the fill, and Lee's not used to me coming in and sorry guys.
Well, look,
I
look
don't mean
at,
I don't mean
but it's moved quite a lot since.
yeah, I know. But if you go back to 8:15 and you go to that candle, you'll see that you'll see
So
that
here's
at
the
like
8:15 trade candle. That was the trade candle.
yeah. Yeah. So I got filled at a pretty good spot. You see
Yeah, he got a good
1817.5?
fill.
Yeah. All right, one last thing, guys. I just want to say, Ellis, I was reading what you said. You know, behind the scenes, I dropped off my 7-year-old son this morning. I was rushing back, literally scootering back to make this trade happen. And so that's one of the cool things about what we do here, appointment-based trading, right? Is that I was able to literally get home literally minutes before I had the trade set up, ready to go. I came back, I hit enabled, and you saw the video for yourself in a few seconds. Now, I would have loved to see many more members make more money on this one, but I understand why this one was a little bit tricky. To sum it up, Lee, I would say what was so tricky about this one?
The slippage, really. It was slippage. It slipped people way too much, so targets can get hit, and targets weren't that big either.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. There was definitely opportunity. If as long as you're going for a handful of ticks, you know what I mean, and when you saw that it was struggling a little bit and getting out earlier was probably the best thing you can do. But listen, this is just the first one. So far, Lee, I think we're starting off the year on a good note, right? I think we're 2 for 2 in the trade room. So I know it's just $100, but you know what? All these small winners add up too. So I like to see all of our members also have winners together. And I know sometimes people are like, oh, like don't follow. I follow the DMM to the T. Jay put 7 ticks and 13 ticks. Now, I didn't get filled at 13 ticks, but I set up my targets that way, right? And then I had the ability to change it. Lee, I'm going to go. I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but I just want to wish everyone a successful trading week, and I'll be back for more action with you. Okay, Lee? So I'll turn it back to you, and I want to welcome everyone again. Okay? Thanks, everyone.
All right. See you later.
See you later, guys.
Folks, let me clarify. Let me address what Michael said, because it's what people think is going to work. If you want to prevent slippage, set stop limit orders. So Michael, just to remind you, what will happen is many trades won't get filled. It won't be worth it. In a very fast move, stop limit orders get jumped over. So that's why we don't use them. This was not, if someone lost money on this, it was not a big loser. I don't think it was anybody's fault if they lost money. Eric did something pretty unique. I would not have done it because I've seen this trade chop around and then explode in the right direction. So I'm usually a little bit willing to let the trade breathe, if you know what I mean. But I did move my stop because I was risking a fair amount of money, and and that's what took me out, but it did hit my first target. And I had multiple contracts. I almost always put multiple contracts on my first target. So if I only hit the first target, at least I'll make about $100, okay? But what Eric did, so if you enable a trade, let me show you what you can try to experiment with. Any trade that is enabled, okay? In other words, any trade that's ready to trade. And I'll set up a little 3-position trade for everybody, okay? And I'll set up with a very small bracket so we get filled, okay? I'll use a bracket of 2, and of course I'm in sim, all right? And I want to show you how to use the combine button, because that's what gave Eric more money. It won't always give you more money. I usually use the combine button when I'm losing. It helps me get out of the trade with a smaller loss. But he just used it perfectly today. It was just one of those things that worked perfectly. So I'm enabling a trade. If you look at your taskbar, Ninja Trader, the top of your chart, there's a BE, that's a break even button. If you're in a trade and the trade is profitable, the break even button will move your stop to break even plus a tick or a minus a tick, depending on direction. The combine button, watch. The combine button, let me put my time in. I'm going to put a time of 0 so my trade triggers. And let me make my targets big enough so that they don't fill, okay? So I can demonstrate what combined does. So my trade's going to trigger. See, there's my orders. My trade triggered. That we don't care about. But see how I have 3 orders sitting there? Eric hit the combine button. And it made all my orders, one order, close to the price. It's part of the software. Jeff, when you enable a trade, it'll be there. So let me do it again. My trade's going to trigger, okay? No buttons. Now, when we get filled in a second, because the market will move, it'll fill us. I should have made it just 1 tick, so we don't have to wait. Let me make it 1 tick. I'm just making my bracket 1. All it has to do is move 1 tick. Okay, so it filled. There's my orders. Now I'm profitable, right? I could hit the break even button and watch my stop. It moves to break even plus a tick. Trade over, I protected some profit. I made a few bucks. Now, combine button is a different feature. 3 open orders. 3 open orders. Trade is negative, okay? Trade's negative. I could move my orders manually, right? I'm just turning off my cursor so I have a arrow. Okay, now I'm positive. I could hit the break even button. It'll move my stop up. Or I could say, hey, it doesn't look like it's going to hit all my targets. Let me combine them. Now I can move them all together much more easily. Okay? Now you can't uncombine them. Be a good feature. Okay? No. AJ, no. Maybe next update. But the break even button is so fast, AJ. How would you ever know what you wanted it to be? That you have the target 1 stop move for. It's a duplication. I don't see how you could possibly know. You know what I mean? Why would you want to change the break even button? How would you know what to change it to? I mean, I kind of get it. I do like the flexibility. Okay, so I think good lesson. Good lesson. Steve, if you use an ATM, you can't use the software, so that's not going to help, right? It's either one or the other. It's one or the other. Ah, right. Do it with the break even button. Do it with the break even button. Gray rock, that defeats the whole purpose, though. Yes, Jody, you can use break even plus whatever you want in the target 1 stop move. So in other words, what I'm saying is the break even button is programmed break even plus or minus a tick only if you're profitable. Okay, right now I'm profitable. I can hit the break even button and protect, right? Protect my trade. Now, if price was not profitable when you hit it, it won't work properly. Let me close this. Hold on. Let me close this. See, I'm not profitable. You don't want to use the break even button if you're not profitable. It won't work properly. It won't work. But you can always combine, right? Combine. Shrink your, not shrink, but combine your targets so you can manipulate them more easily. But the format of the target one stop move, so you've got target one stop move. If you hover over it, it gives you the format and explains what it is. Now, sometimes there's not enough room to explain everything, okay? Sometimes there's just not enough room. So you could do something like break even plus 6. If you have a real big moving trade, a trade that you know is going to move real big, what I think makes the most sense, if you have a trade that you think is going to be a good mover, why not use the stop target 2 break even? And then you can move it to break even plus 6 or 8 and protect quite a bit of target. And I have another trick that I could show people, but I'm not going to do it today. I don't want to confuse everybody. Yes, yes. So YouTube, give us a like if you would. Thanks, folks. Give us some likes. Sign up for the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know the next time we're here. And we'll see you tomorrow for more streaming. Thanks for coming, everybody, on YouTube. Thanks, John.